No, I didn't know. I loved it.
I
I
think I
did.
see you, man.
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, oh, I was like, this is the best thing, almost the best thing since sliced bread. You
Hey,
know, get a baguette or something. But it was, yeah, I was loving it. I just never got really real proficient with it. As far as muting, unmuting the video and all the background and all that stuff. I just knew how to kind of get on, and I can't front. I like it.
hey, it's modern technology, man. We're just using it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And even though Zoom has been around since the late '80s, early '90s,
Yeah, true, true, true.
it was just wasn't used like that.
But for me, it's like still like Star Trek. It's still
Oh,
like
no,
Captain
yeah.
Kirk.
I
It's
mean, no,
like,
to all of us, that's what it was. It was like, oh, Lou, yeah, Lou. I'm like, I did the research because that's what I do. It's kind of how I got the name Preach, being very technical and shit. So
wow.
don't give me access to information. I'm a data file, actually, data phobe, but data file.
Yep.
So,
Well, man, let me say good afternoon first of all, and like just formally, I want to formally say hello, and I'll introduce myself real quick because you and I haven't really got to meet in person, and so my name's Ben, aka Novocaine, and basically what I do is like I think I'm more of like an archivist, but I'm also a rap appreciator in Seattle, and I love the history of Seattle rap. I love culture in Seattle, and I hear your name come up so often. So, do you want to introduce yourself to the viewers that haven't ever heard of you before?
all right. So, got Brother Preach. Back in the day, it was Kill, but most people, almost everybody, knows me as Preach. Um, I ended up changing my name because there was more people that knew me as Preach than my given name, which was Sam. So anybody for the year of I'd say what 1990, 91, if you didn't know me as Sam, then it's Preach.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I, so basically, yeah, basically I'm Seattle. Yeah, I was even though I was born in Brooklyn, I was raised on both coasts until high school, and high school was '83. So that's when I became a permanent, Seattleite or whatever. But I spent so much time here. I'm part of the culture. So I was there from the gate, in the '70s until I was just dancing 2 days ago. So,
Let's rewind that a little bit. Let's rewind that a little bit. So you said you lived in New York and also in Seattle part time of the year. Is that how you describe it?
so hold on a second. So what it is I was my family's from here, and but I had family in New York. My mother took me when she was pregnant to New York. I was born there, but right after I was born, she brought me back here. I'm assuming around a year or so, and so I basically started school and all that stuff here. But my uncle worked for Pan Am, and so that back in the day that was a big thing in the '70s. Pan Am. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah,
um,
big airline. Big
yeah,
airline.
yeah, yeah. So he worked there. So I was back then, and you remember, you're old enough to remember that they could send you, put you on the plane at 4 or 5 years old. You could walk to the gate, drop them off, and then somebody's there waiting for you. So I would fly back and forth, spend summers there, start school there, and then leave school there, come here halfway through the year, and then do summers here. I would bounce back and forth. So I spent a lot of time in both coasts until high school. That was on 82, summer 82, 83. I was supposed to go back home and start school there, high school in New York. But my family that lived there, they moved upstate, so I had nothing to go back to.
Mm.
So I was here for good, and that was like '83. I started high school here, but until then, I was in the culture. I was in the, people know me, and they see me so much. They're like, "Yo, yeah, we didn't even know you was from the city." The story on that too is that I didn't even really claim New York like that until like high school, the b-boy era.
Which high school were you at in Seattle?
Well, and be more clear, better to tell you which one I didn't go to. I started at Cleveland and jumped around Garfield and ended up graduating from Nathan Hill.
Okay.
So it wasn't until the b-boy era because, and you remember because you was there, the b-boy era. If you was from the city, it didn't matter what you did or how good you was. Just simply being from New York, you got props. So I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, You know, okay, shit, I can be cool because I'm from New York. I'm like, well, shit, So I started claiming it, even though I wasn't like I was all up in the streets in New York or whatever. So I was like, well, shit, technically, I'm from the city.
So now let me ask you this. Once it really hit in '79 with Rapper's Delight, and then further on like Curtis Blow and other heroes like early Run DMC stuff, did you aspire to be a rapper, or did you aspire to be a b-boy in general, where it was like all four elements of rap? Like, what was your take on that?
I mean, all four elements of hip hop. Not all
Sorry?
four elements. You said all four elements of rap. It was all four elements of hip hop.
Of hip hop. Sorry, correct,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. See,
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I know we got to clarify. We got to clarify. If this supposed to be educational, that's what I do.
I know. Thank you.
That's how I got the name. Like I said, yeah, nah. In the beginning, yep, it was the dance, it was the hit, it was the rap, and I never did the graph, and I never did the DJ. But yeah, I had an MC name, way back, and everybody was doing it, and I was doing the dance. I've been dancing and skating. It started at skating, and in Washington in the '70s. Every Friday, I used to have skating up there. Then, of course, when hip hop and dance and all that stuff came out, they started having the little um, jams and battles and stuff like that up there. So I've been dancing since 8, 9 years old. So that was the late '70s. So yeah, and then when the hip hop, let me see, like in high school, that's when right around high school when we started doing the MCing. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Had my little lyrics and everything and little crews and all that, but nothing serious.
So let's talk about this era. Like, let's say we're in the early to mid '80s. Which other Seattle artists do you remember as influences, or that you saw around town? Like, did you ever see Jam Delight? Did you ever see Emerald Street Boys? Groups like that.
Okay, so yeah, I knew Emerald Street Boys. At least I knew Darnell at the time. I knew him as Darnell, James Croon. See, most people don't know. I know him as Darnell. Growing up, we used to live in the Kenyon Projects, apartments or whatever. And he was the big bro. I used to run with him because he was the older kid, him and his sister. And so by the time I think I got to middle school, junior high, and that the Emerald Street Boys at the Black Festival, and their name was all throughout. Yeah, I heard about Jam Delight, all them guys, Silver Chain Gang, Emerald Street Boys, and all them guys they was putting it down. They was the talk of the town. So yeah, and I was like, oh, James Croon. They said everybody James Croon. I didn't even really know who he was. I heard the name because I knew him as Darnell, right? So when I finally saw him, I'm like, oh, that's my big bro. That's Darnell. I'm like, oh, okay, James Croon, sure, all right, yep, that definitely know about them.
Do you remember being aware of their record? They had their record Christmas Rap. Do you remember being aware of that record?
No, I can't say that I did because at that time, I heard it, but I don't remember it being a record. That was in the early stages to where it's like, something like that. It had to be kind of big, really, really big. It was a big deal that they had it, but it wasn't like, oh, shoot, their record. To us, we thought it was like a cassette. Just something on a cassette or whatever. Everything was cassette. We didn't realize there was any records floating around like that.
Did you aspire to record music at the time? Did you ever record tapes? Did you ever make a tape of your own raps on tape?
Nah. I never got that far. I mean, it was like in the school type shit, freestyling, on the bus and stuff like that. But I never got that serious. It was really more for me, hip hop. It was the dancing. So the MCing and all that stuff was just, I just had to, oh, I'm sorry, take it back. I was on some beatboxing shit. So I did the beatbox, I did the rapping, at the same time, but that was just like the little school stuff. It was nothing serious. But the dancing that's where it got serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So shout out some contemporaries. Talk about some dancers in Seattle that inspired you. Talk about some of the guys that you looked up to, or the ladies that you looked up to in the dance community here.
Okay, see, so for that, now remember, I'm taking it back to was local. So we had local celebrities and stuff like that. So everybody that I was looking up to as far as dancers was on the local scene. And one of them ended up being Teach.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah.
about how you met. Talk about how you two met, man.
Well, we go back to 80, 80, 81. So I was 80, so 11. We lived in the same hood up there in the CD. And that was basically it. We lived in the same hood and we just kicked it together and everything. And it's crazy because we met and we kicked it in the same hood, but by the time excuse me, the B-boy era came around, he ended up being in a different crew. We had kind of separated because the part of the CD he was in and the part of the CD that I was actually, which was basically like 6 blocks away, really. He ended up being in that crew. We had our own crew, and so we kind of was on opposite teams per se. And then we didn't get together again until the Mix-a-Lot parties. I got the stories for that, the dancing. But I looked up to them guys. I take it as an analogy, an analogous rather, for I was like the ugly duckling of dance. Because by the time we got to the boys club, the dance crew, it was Darnell, Sebastian, Phil, and then there was a couple other guys. They already was established. I was kind of like the one trying to keep up, right? Trying to be like, okay, I can do this too. I can do this too. Look at me, and they kind of was like, oh yeah, good shit, come on, be with us. And I was like, oh shit, they're allowing me to be with them. So I'm sitting here, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm fronting, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm nowhere near as good as these guys, but they're allowing me to be with them, and okay, because it was different back then. See, I got a whole list of stuff. Back then, the dancing was different as opposed to how it is now. We still was coming out of the B-boy era where everything was, what's up, crew versus crew. It wasn't no after it's over, we were dapping each other up and all that shit. Nah, fuck that. We were still mugging after the band. This is the dance part. It's because remember, the hip hop dance per se, background dancer came right out of the B-boy era. So from 80, 85 into 86, that's kind of when you start seeing the background dancers or whatever. So we started doing this thing, well, actually before that, we was doing that like at the Mix-a-Lot parties. That was 85. That was around 84, 85. So it was coming out of that. So it was a status thing. It was about, no, we're good. It's not about, okay, yeah, we're all together. Let's have fun. It's different now. They're just cheering you if you're out there in the middle, simply because you're out there in the middle. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I see you. Back in the day, nah. You had to be doing something. They wasn't just pumping you up simply because you out there. It's way different now, which is, evolution and everything, especially since I ended up getting my degree in performing arts. So, I understood all of that. That's one of the things that helped us, my organizational skills and technicality. So,
Well, let me ask you a two-part question that you might already have notes about. This is a two-parter, but it's kind of related. The first question is, talk about the fashion that you all were wearing in the early 80s. Like, what was it all about for the clothing? And then second of all, where in Seattle would these things go down? Where in Seattle would you be dancing? And then what would you be rocking from head to toe? Like, what kind of gear?
Okay, yeah, I need more specific because you have the early 80s, you have the early 80s, and then you have the mid 80s and then the late 80s. So
yeah, early. Start with early. What would be early?
man, back in the early 80s, when shit, almost the same stuff like Run DMC type, the jeans, jeans was there. Let me see, you know, shell toe, the shell toes, the Adidas, the Pumas. But the B-boy stuff that see now you gotta remember, see, I was in New York at the same time, so I got the B-boy era and all that stuff before it hit here. So by the time it got here, I was like, oh yeah, I'm hip to that. And everybody here was like, oh yeah, here's the style and here's that. And I was seeing that stuff back in the we was doing the moonwalk. And I was trying to do the research. If I remember, we was more we call it the moons. What we call it, the glide, the slide, the foot glide, the foot slide, or something like that. It was before Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson did it in '83. We was
Wow.
doing like to my recollection, I want to say 80. We was bopping, in the '70s. We
Yeah.
was doing that in the '70s.
Yeah.
And we were sliding, during the moon, the slide, the glide, or whatever, in the '80s. So, um, it was a you see members only jackets, stuff like that. It wasn't. It was way before the b-boy era, especially when it hit out here. So I saw all that stuff in New York before I even got here. I mean, well, I should say back before I came here, because I was bouncing back and forth.
Hmm.
So,
Man,
oh,
okay, so you talked about Sir Mix-a-Lot parties a couple times, man. You should start talking about the Mix-a-Lot parties, man.
all right. So this was the era where it was at the boys club. I have to correct a couple of brothers out there. Y'all saying the Boys and Girls Club. It was the boys club. It wasn't the Boys and Girls Club. It was the boys club.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that changed way later. Uh, so yeah, every weekend, I want to say, Fridays and Saturdays, sometimes both. He would be up there, and how this is how I guess I came into I'm accepted, right? There was one. One song I want to give a shout out that nobody's talking about. I keep hearing about the second reindeer and the square dance rap and all that stuff or whatever. But there was a song, and I want to catch up with Mix too and get this. It was a song called "I Just Want to Fuck You" that he did, and man, this was the shit, man. Mix used to back in the day. Mix used to do this thing where he would make a tape for you, a personalized tape, right? $5. And the whole thing was don't make a copy of his tape. He
Mm.
was like, don't dub my tape. If you dub my tape, if you dub this tape, he found out, people's gonna do it. He found out, was gonna find out. Black community here was so small. He would make a diss song about you personally. Yeah. It was that serious. So he would make these songs that nobody had, put on your tape, and one of them was I Just Want to Fuck You. So this is how I knew I had made it. We were like, okay, we used to go there. We had our little crew every Saturday or whatever, and he would give us a shout out while we was on the floor. So this one time, he was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have you guys go outside, and I'm gonna introduce you guys one by one, and you guys come in. Now, mind you, now shit like this be like, yeah, whatever. But back then, this was big shit. This was like 80 to 85, easy, 84, 85. And so we would go outside, and he said, because everybody knew that song was getting ready to come on. But he's like, I'm introduced. At the time, we were the Dream Boys,
Okay.
and yeah, and there's stories on that shit too. Got stories on top of stories. So he would say, all right, you guys gonna go out. I'm going to bring you guys in, introduce you guys one at a time, and then when you guys come in, then we're going to start a song. So what he would do is he would say, all right, you guys, we go out. Okay, Philip, come inside, grab a girl. She better have a big ass. And Phil come in, he grab a girl, go to the stage. Sebastian, come in, grab a girl. She better have big titties. He come in, he grab a girl. Sam, grab a girl. Come in and grab, so all of us will come in without smooth shit, grab a girl, go to the floor. Then he start the song and shit. And everybody was just like, oh. So that was every Friday and Saturday. He used to rock it up there. And yeah, it was wild up there, man. It was wild. People was sneaking in. People was sneaking in through the window on the side. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. It was a big thing, man. It really was a big thing. It was for status. It wasn't the dancing now. Dancing and plus because, like I said, I became a choreographer. I got my degree in performing arts. So, you know, everything now is so polished and professional. Everybody's they're athletes now. You know, we were dancing. If you look at, just take anything, go back and look any of the dancing back in the 80s, and you see everybody, you feeling the energy of the people dancing, even though it may be a little sloppy, but you can tell they're dancing out of the spirit of the dance and the moves. Now you're looking at it saying, okay, yeah, that's a routine. You know, and it's not like you're looking at it the same as in, oh man, I'm feeling that energy. I want to get out there and dance like they're dancing. I want to do. That's kind of how we got our name PPIA, and we'll talk about that a little later. I want to finish your queries first. Um, like I said, I have a whole agenda itemized, and man, I even got minutes. I just was looking at some of the minutes from the meetings that we had back in 87, 86. You know, as far as our crew, because we were so, you know, so delineated and stuff. I mean, I just amazed myself just right preparing for this last night, man. I found the file, man. I still got the file.
Well, hey, watch this. I'll let you cook for a minute because we don't have a ton of time on today, but I'll just let you drive for the next 10 minutes. Just talk about what you want to talk about, man.
Oh man, shoot. All right, well, yeah, I guess that's one of the things. I think one of the things that yeah, because I don't know where to start. I got 40, 45 years. Yeah, I can just talk about, you know, as far as me and Teach, because I know the next time I want to try to get him on there because he's still around. That's right. I just saw him this weekend. He's a DJ now. So we ended up doing, I think, what set us apart as a crew was our organization, okay, and presentation. I was doing things back then at 15, 16 years old that I ended up doing as like in my fraternity. I mean, as far as on that business structure type thing, it was surprised my damn self. So we had rules and protocols, and we had procedures, and we all made sure that we was dressed a certain way, and we had our own sayings. We made up our own languages, and you know what I mean. It was all about making an impression, you know, a lasting impression. So that's how we kind of got our name. Now, I'll leave that for another time. You said 10 minutes, so I'm trying to throw so much up in here at the same time. But basically, you know, we was the pioneers. We was the pioneers. We started with that dance crew, and then as we got older, and ended up becoming me and Teach, and we just still kept the PPI name, you know, attached to us because we were original members, and you know, ended up kind of Preach and Teach. We were associated with that, and you know, basically, we became household names. Again, got stories on that, even in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Even in Canada, you know, household name, Preach and Teach. I did another interview with a guy because we were instrumental in hip hop up in Canada as well, bringing hip hop to Canada, at least BC, you know. But yeah, we was there. We was in the Mix Lot video. I did his video. I did Kid Sensations video. I choreographed for that. Yeah, we were there. A lot of things people don't know about the Mix Lot video. It was not filmed at Dick's. It was filmed at Stan's down on Rainier.
Mm-hmm.
It was filmed at Stan's because Dick's didn't want to be associated with hip hop. Mind you, this was the late 80s, and hip hop was, you know, they didn't want that exposure. Hip hop had a bad reputation in rap. So they said no, they didn't allow him. So he went down to Stan. So it was filmed down there, and we were highlighted in that. Yeah, so we just became, you know, staples in the community. Anybody talking about background dancers, our name was the first one came up. We were so versatile. Me and him, we danced together. It was almost like, you know, fluid. You know, we were just like that. Last minute, all we needed to do was hear the song, and we was ready. You know, we didn't even have to practice on it because we always had so much stuff ready to go because we had danced together for so long. So I think I have like another, minute and a half?
Let's see. No, we still have like 10 minutes still. I mean, I just mean, I meant in general, like I just didn't want to go. I want to make sure you get a chance to say a lot of the memories that you have. But my questions are still like, basically like, yeah, with you and Teach, for instance, would you perform between musical groups or would you perform like while the musical group is doing their thing? Like, how would that go down?
We were background dancers. Yeah, we were background dancers. We did end up having our own performance shows and routines, full-fledged performances. Him and I can send you some of the stuff. Man, I got so much documentation. I have, like I said, you saw that file. I got paperwork. I got video. I got photos. Man, I have so much. But we would dance. People usually would come to us and say, "Oh, yo, man, we got this show, and yo, can y'all dance for us?" And we're like, "Yeah, man. All we need is the music. When is it? Oh, it's next week. Oh, when is the music? Oh, man, yo, preach, yo, man. We got the show. Is when is it? It's this weekend. This weekend. Okay. All we need is the music. Okay. Oh, yo, hey, y'all, man, we got this show. Can you dance for us? When is it? Tomorrow. Yeah, okay, all we need is the music. We did the Sound War, did a music video right after the Sound War with a group that we had never, we were just that in tune. We could always adapt just on the fly, which is one of the things that made us so marketable because it was like, oh, these guys are always ready. So, we were just background dancers. We started that with Heavy D. The first thing with Encore, I know everybody kept mentioning that. That was one of the first times they started the hip hop, the lip syncs.
Mm.
Yep, that was '86 when Heavy D and the boys, because you had Tupper T-Roy, dancing. So we saw that in the videos and was like, oh, background dancers, Scoop and Scrap Love, and so we did that lip sync, and that was it right there. Background dancers. That's when we kind of started sliding away from the crew stuff.
My favorite out of New York is Steezo. He used to dance for EPMD, and then he also rapped too. Man, Steezo's my guy before he passed away.
Yeah, that brother. Yeah. He reminded me of my man's from Brooklyn. I guess back in '85. Yeah, back in '84, '85. He was from Flatbush. His name was Feats, and Steezo's the same thing. He danced for Whistle. They had again. This was that time when the background dancer stuff started and everything. He came out here one time for a concert and everything. So Steezo, I know you're talking about. Yeah, my man.
Did you ever perform with Lovesick Rhymers, LSR?
Nah, we didn't perform with them, but we was performing alongside them. If let's say that. Yeah, that's my man. Yeah, Lovesick Larry. All them guys. Them is my mans, right? All of them. We went to school together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to school. We was at school together, in high school. So that was my mans. So we was side by side. We was rocking everything. We was all good. Yep.
Man,
he saved us for that DJ Sound battle. Again, that's another story that deserves its own section. Mm-hmm. My man, we go back.
Well, you can jump back in, man. Whatever else you want to try to cover. I'm not really watching like the ticking clock, but I'll let you know when it's like a couple minutes left. But if you want to hit a few more topics, man, please be my guest. I appreciate this.
Hey, let me see. So you want to focus on just the early parts, or just how it was, the environment, or
basically like whatever you really want to make sure that the young kids watching today, what can they learn from your experience? Like also like just again like some of the heroes like Mix-a-Lot and Kid Sensation, like what was it like to be in those scenes? I think you've already explained it a little bit, but I think you're on the right track, man.
Yeah. So again, it's a different era. The main thing, like I said, I'm a professional. I got my degree in choreography. I'm a professional, so I just got through doing some stuff. Still working with kids to this day. Actually, one of the things that I have to tell them is that what set us apart, and even me, I can still get out there and outdance a lot of guys because I had to learn this the hard way because I was so still stuck in the b-boy era where the moves actually meant something. And the people watching was able to process and say, oh, that move is better than that move. Mm-hmm. Now it's just like they don't necessarily know that this move was more of a technical move than that move. It's more about your presentation and are you having fun while you're doing it. So you can have somebody out there, don't have any moves, just doing whatever. And there's somebody that's real technical doing something and you're like, oh, okay, you're looking at it with different eyes. The thing is to go out there and to show your soul. Soul, have the energy. I do that still as a 56-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, cause I'm like, don't let the 5'6" fool you. You know what I mean? Because I still put it down. You know, but I may not be as technical as you, but I'm out there and they're looking at me like, oh yeah, I did bubbling brown sugar. Yeah, a good thing. This is what it is. Bubbling brown sugar, the throwbacks about 7 years ago, maybe longer. So one of the things was all those guys were basically from the drill teams and stuff like that, and they were all technical. We need to have the hands, and you know they're all about And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Okay, I'm going out here to have fun. This is not a competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were worried about me because, well, yeah, it doesn't seem like you're getting it. And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. When I get out there, man, and afterwards they were like, yo, he was jamming because I was again. Plus, I'm a performer, stage performer, so I'm projecting myself. You need to emanate the energy of I'm doing me and I'm having fun. So that's one of the things I noticed. Like I said, today everybody's technical. Them guys, to me, it almost feels as if they're too sharp. You know, they're just too sharp. Everybody is so perfect. Every crew, every dancer is so perfect, and it's like, okay, you guys are just dancing. Sometimes they're doing dance moves. They're doing dance routine. I don't know if you've seen this, but when I saw a group in a studio that do a piece of a routine to a song, and another group will do a piece of routine to a song, and and it's like the dance routine that they're doing. I'm like, you guys are just doing moves. You know, I can tell because it's not going to the song. If I was the choreographer and stuff like that, I'd be doing certain songs, certain parts of the song. You'd be doing certain types of moves. You can't just take a routine and just throw it into a song.
I just realized a question that I didn't ask you before, man. A really important event for Seattle was the KOMO Channel 4 Summer Break, where Steve Poole was the host, and they did a breakdance competition on live TV with stereo and whatnot. What was your experiences with Summer Break? Were you there that day? And why weren't you on the stage? If you weren't on the stage, man, what's the word on that?
They was not ready. They was not ready for me to get up there and look like a fool. I was at that time. I was just a regular average b-boy kid. You know, I was nowhere near that stage. You know, as far as being ready for that stage, I wasn't there. My b-boy skills was nominal. You know, I wasn't that. I didn't become fly, if you were, until the actual hip hop dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there though. I remember that. I was definitely down there looking up at the bottom of the stage. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, there was some. I got the video, man. There was some cold moves up there. There was some cold moves for real. Yeah, I was
Remember it.
12. I was 12 years old, and you talk about young kids. My brother was 10, but we took the bus from Green Lake to down to the Seattle Center to watch that, man, at the Seattle Center, and
Yeah,
that's one of my
one of them was at the pier.
at the pier.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. I didn't know that one.
One of them was at the pier. You had the first degree breakers were the Samoans mostly, and the Deroxy crew was the brothers from Rainier Beach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And yeah, at the pier. I think they had two of them down there. But yep, same thing. I was there. I was definitely there. I think I might have been what 15 at the time. Easy. Yeah, because when the hip hop era hit, I was 14, 15 years old.
I'm gonna go back to the big picture. Now we're down to about 3 or 4 minutes. But again, like I kind of want to prompt you again, like what does hip hop mean to you, and like why has it lasted so long, and why, and like what can it be positivity? Like I know there's a negative side to hip hop culture, or not really for rap. Rap is the negative part usually, but then there's a very positive side. And what do you think hip hop culture brings to young people? Like what do you want people to know about hip hop from your point of view, man? What do you think about that?
Well, what do I think? At this point, really, it's just more of a thing. I don't see it as a culture anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially in the day's age, everything moves so fast, and all this TikTok and everything. People can just do anything, and it's all right. That's hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think hip hop we still have. If you're not in the underground, then it's just a thing. The way I see it, nobody's out there how it was back in the day. Yo, I live hip hop. I am hip hop. What's up? For the culture even before the term for the culture, he was living that shit. We was b-boys, and even afterwards, I remember going and checking folks for way back in the day, the white boys for having a hip hop shirt on if they didn't know what you doing. We would step up to them. Yeah, we on the but man, why you got that Run DMC shirt on?
Yeah,
I'm proud of it, but I was representing. And again, coming from New York, we was like, you can't be talking about I'm down with hip hop and you don't know what hip hop. It's like false flagging. It's like be saying you're a member of a fraternity, got Sigma shirt on. Sigmas, we're gonna come looking at you, hey man. You have a Masonic emblem on and you don't have, they gonna come check you. That's how it was back in the day. It's nowhere near that. Now you can be whatever, say whatever you want, and it's not really a culture. It's the way I see it. It's there. I'm not trying to shit on it, but that's basically how I feel about it because I was there in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Do you still go out to any events in Seattle occasionally, like live music, or what's your take on that?
Oh man, I do as much as I can. Me and the missus, like I said, I was just down at Festival Sanjata.
Mm-hmm.
Down there dancing. Like I said, I was putting it down. I still work with the youth leadership development organization, where part of the group is a step team, but they do shows. We put together shows, not just the stepping, but it's also we incorporate what they're learning inside of the show as well. Leadership development, brotherhood, manhood, cultural awareness. So, I still go out and I still get down with them. I jump in the circle. I go to the clubs, every now and again, and I still get my boogie on. Yeah. So
cool.
That's it.
Well, let's put out a challenge. To your partner, Teach, man. Let's put out a challenge where we do an interview with all three of us. That would be so fun, man. I feel like.
Let me know. Let me know so I can tell him. He has a restaurant. Him and another guy that's instrumental in the hip hop community, DJ Pooh. He was there with us up at the Boys Club. So that's how far we go back. And he has a restaurant. So you let me know when is a good time so I can tell him and we can all make something happen. Because I think he's pretty flexible too. I'm way more flexible than he is as far as my occupation. But yeah, let me know when is a good time for you. Like I said, have we had him here, man, you'd have got like 4 questions in.
I know, man. It's this has been a lot of fun though.
Yeah. All right.
Let me say, I'm about to say goodbye, but we'll cut it off for now. This is only the first chapter of this conversation, but the hip hop story continues, man, in Seattle.
I got stories on top of stories. We're talking about 40. We're talking 40. Like I said, that file right there alone, that goes back to 80, 85. 84. And then I got man, again, I'm the dude. You say archives, I'm a historian, just like you. I'm a historian naturally, so I collect and archive everything. Documentation speaks louder than conversation.
We'll talk again, man. Take care. Have a good day.
All right, my man. Peace.
Thank you now.